So Tywin Lannister is a vampire. Makes a little bit of sense when you think about it. Hello once again, watchers of good movies. My name is Nick Pell, and this is once again coming from my college dorm room. Now today I'm going to be talking about the movie Dracula Untold. Truth be told, this was actually my most anticipated movie of the fall, if you can believe that or not. Not Mockingjay, not The Hobbit Part 3. It was this movie. So, did it live up to that hype? Let's find out. The story is an origin story of Dracula, the vampire who everybody has heard of, even the Twilight fans. Luke Evans takes on his persona. He plays a guy named Vlad the Impaler, who most people have also probably heard of. In a lot of stories, Vlad the Impaler is the person who eventually becomes Dracula through many different stories and different means. In this story, he basically is trying to defend his homeland and his family from a group of enemies in another country who are trying to invade him and take 1,000 children for their army. To do this, he ventures up a mountain and into a cave where he meets a master vampire. This is where Charles Dance's character comes in, and he does a really good job in the role. Charles Dance steals the whole scene that he and Luke Evans are in. Charles Dance is a person who will steal any scene that he's in because he's just that good of an actor. Everyone will know this guy from Game of Thrones. He was a person who stole all of his scenes in that, and he just does an equally good job in his role in this film, and I really loved him in the role. From this transition, Vlad gains vampire powers for 3 days, and if he does not consume blood within those 3 days, he will turn back into a mortal man, lose his powers, and get to continue living his life. And that's the main setup for the movie. He is trying to do this while taking out his enemies within 3 days' time. Sarah Gannon plays Marina. She is his wife, and she is someone who is very much in love with him and is very accepting of his abilities once she discovers them. And it's a very interesting idea. She does an okay job with the role. She's not in it a ton, and she doesn't have a huge role except for maybe some motivation for Vlad, but she does a fine job with whatever she has to do. And then Dominic Cooper is Mehmed. He doesn't really get his name said a lot in the film, so I can't remember how to say it exactly, but he's the main villain of this film. He is the ruler of the enemies that Vlad is trying to fight that I cannot remember the name of for some reason. Yeah, he's in there. He's also supposed to be Vlad's brother, apparently, which they don't really ever touch on at all in the film, besides one little instance where it's like, oh, he's my brother, kind of, sort of. So, yeah, there's that. I would have liked to see a little bit more of that played on, maybe at least towards the end of the movie, a little bit, but they don't, so yeah. The special effects in this movie look really good, from Vlad's bat powers, which he uses to move around an area or take down guys and fight and whatnot, to him just like looking like a vampire, especially in the light of the sun and his skin shedding and whatnot. It all looks really good and really well done, and I enjoyed seeing these special effects. Like I said, they look just really nice. Charles Dance as the vampire looks really good as well. The story is also more of an intriguing one. I personally only know Dracula from the Bram Stoker novel, which you can see my review for here, and that is literally about it that I know of Dracula. Is just that story, and then just like random little bits of information and things that I've seen in movies and TV. Besides that, I found this origin story to be an actually pretty good one. I found it intriguing and enjoyable. It had some issues, like the movie was a little bit slow at times, and so that kind of took me out of the whole experience of like every so often. But besides that, I found the movie very enjoyable. I found the story and the idea of how Dracula came to be Dracula very intriguing. I always like to see villain origin stories because it shows why they turn into the people that they turn into and why they become so infamous. And I just found his origin story to be actually really endearing and exciting, and you actually do root for Dracula throughout this whole thing, and that's kind of tough to do with a vampire who is very infamous throughout a large portion of history. Music in this movie is also really well done. I do not know who the composer is, but it really helps the movie flow, especially in the battle scenes. That's where I really noticed it the most, and it just helped to bring out the scenes a lot more than they otherwise would have been. And lastly, I'm not going to get into it in details, but the ending to this movie is really exciting, and it sets up a sequel to the film really well, and I really enjoyed how they ended this movie. They could have ended it in one way and called it good, and then they took it a step further, which is something I usually hesitate on recommending for movies to do when they have a solid ending and then they take it a little bit further. Sometimes that will ruin the movie. This made it a ton better because of it. I also heard that this movie is supposed to be the first in a shared monster universe. I have no idea if that's true or not, and I do not know what other monsters they would include in this, but it does potentially set up something along those lines, and I am very, very excited to see where this potentially goes. I would love to see a sequel to Dracula Untold. I don't know what they would call it, because they can't really call it Dracula Untold 2 or something like that, but I would be just really excited to see where this movie goes, where this franchise goes, if it does explode into something else. As you can tell, I really did enjoy Dracula Untold. It has a few flaws in and of itself, but overall it's a very enjoyable movie. I highly recommend going to see it this weekend if you do not want to go see Robert Downey Jr. as a Judge, which I'll be reviewing later this week, to tomorrow, basically. Those are my thoughts. Leave yours in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. Did you like Dracula Untold as much as I did? Did you despise it a lot more than I did? Let me know. Like, fair, comment, and subscribe. Once again, my good people, if you so choose, I appreciate it immensely. And as always, my name is Nick Pell. And once again, keep on watching.